Greetings, opera lovers. Live from Pittsburgh, it's Rona with an opera review of Hector Berlioz's Damnation of Faust, which is not actually an opera, but close enough, as it is being performed this month in Paris at the Bastille Opera. I am not in Paris, nor have I been in well over a year, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't able to view a videographer's interpretation of this opera. It has either been shown or will be shown in cinema houses across the world soon. It's quite a controversial production, and I'll get to that later. I haven't reviewed anything on my channel in quite a long time, and many of my most loyal fans, all three of them, have asked me how come. And I haven't seen a whole lot of operas, although I've listened to many on various media. The main reason I haven't done this is because I haven't had a whole lot of good things to say. Now, how is that for an ambassador of opera? To say negative things a lot. So I decided it's best not to say anything. And so I didn't. I was glad that some people noticed I hadn't said anything. And I haven't seen a whole lot of operas live in the last few months, but I did catch quite a few over the summer and in the fall, live streamed from Europe through various channels. And although I did not catch the Damnation of Faust live streamed, I saw an absolute live production. And there were some negative things that I thought, but in general, I just loved it. Now, it has crossed my mind, what is the point of talking about operas, especially when you are not an expert in operas? People have pointed out to me that opinions are free everywhere. And today, with the advent of such great technology, anybody can be a reviewer. So why do you think you deserve a space in this little world of opera? Well, let me start by saying that many people already have professional spaces, such as Anthony Tomasini, who writes for the New York Times. He is, in my opinion, an incredibly highly educated musician and loves music. And yet, when I read his opera reviews, there is one aspect of his reviews that bothers me all the time, and that is that he doesn't seem to have a reference point to older singers. Now, I could be completely wrong, and he could be the world's greatest expert on singers of the past. And then you might even say, well, why would that matter? Well, it matters to me and many other people who like to read reviews. And he is typical of many music reviewers who have expertises in one area or many areas of musical criticism, but not all. Another thing that I would like to point out is that although I am totally not an expert on opera, I would like to think that I know something about singing. And therefore, I have something worthwhile to add after I've heard an opera. Now, you may disagree. You may not like the singers I like, but after all, a review or a critique of an opera or any piece of music is just one person's opinion. So this performance in Paris was greatly hailed before it even came out, because it was going to be such a new interpretation. And it was. And since most of these YouTube clips that I am able to post on YouTube can barely run past 10 minutes, and anyway, why would anybody want to hear me speak for more than 10 minutes? I thought I would just talk about the production here and then about the singing in another one. I also, as you probably have noticed, I don't have a script in front of me, so this is all from the top of my head. I try in advance to organize my thoughts. But between organizing my thoughts and having them come out of my mouth at my age is not a direct path. There are many obstacles in between. And so now I'm going to do my best to describe the good, the bad, and what I didn't see in The Damnation of Faust. It is a concept opera, surprise, and I don't even know where to begin. Let's just start visually at the beginning. There is a video projection on the stage with no sound accompanying it. Faces who are people from the earth who have been chosen to live on Mars. And they come one by one, their name, their country of origin. And since I already know somewhat the libretto of Faust, it didn't come to me as a great surprise that nature was going to figure largely into this, and somehow Mars being something that would evoke a lot of nature, I'd be seeing a lot of nature, which I did. During the opera, there are three large turnaround sets of what I would describe as skeletal rectangles. In other words, they're big projections of rectangles all lined up next to each other and also in a grid-like fashion. And onto these projections, which also turn around and form other forms, are projected these images. They could be images of animals, like insects, beautiful pictures of flowers, poppies, reminded me of Prince Igor for a second, all sorts of things. I didn't mind the projections. However, in one review, there was a very negative mention of the accompanying video to what Marguerite sings in her very famous aria, whose name I can't remember. See how it is when you get to be my age? But you all know the aria. And it was of insects copulating. I didn't see that on my stream because the cameraman didn't show it. Or maybe it didn't happen, but that's what I read. The other main point of this production was that the character of Faust is really Stephen Hawking's. And how do we know this? Because we have a man in a wheelchair who is bent over with his little computer, and it looks just like the pictures we have seen of Stephen Hawking's. And so Jonas Kaufmann, who plays Faust, is really the alter ego of Stephen Hawking's, or vice versa. Hard to tell. Anyway, I kind of liked it. I didn't dislike it. The only thing in the production that I did not like, and I did not like it a lot, were the scantily clad dancers. By scantily, I mean regular underwear like Hanes or any other brand, shorts for men and women, and teeny tiny brasiers for the women who are ballet dancers. Ballet dancers are all very, very thin, and large breasts are not among the things you can seemingly have if you are going to have a career in ballet. So they were all like paper weight bras and underpants. And the thing that I didn't like the most was that about them is that they danced very close to the singers, especially Marguerite and Faust, when they were singing love duets, and their choreography was lewd. And so I didn't like that. Now, the director of this production, the one who had the concept, his name is Alvis Hermanis, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I thought the concept was brilliant. I have no idea whether he was the one who thought of the dancers or made their costumes or suggested their costumes. But that was the low point for me, and it made the opera not such a good experience. Okay, that's all I'm going to say right now for the production. I'll get to the singers next. Watch up.